Good morning to you. Now we will continue with the constitution. I think we have already taken up election of president. We have said how the American president is elected. We have seen already, and now we are coming to election of Indian president. Election of president of India. I told you. I think I remember to started it. President of India is elected by an electoral college. Number one, consisting of elected members of both the houses of parliament. Number two, and elected members all the assemblies of all states, including Delhi and Pondicherry. There is a small correction. It's my mistake. J&K has not so far been added. J&K will be added. Of course, it should be in all, reasonableness. It should have been added, but there may be some difficulty, so it has not been added because Article 54 is to be amended, and it has to be, and because it requires constitutional amendment under Article 368 and ratification by the states. So as of now, we have got Delhi and Pondicherry only. We have not included J&K. Though in normal course, it will be included after amending the constitution apparently. So for the present, you should remember only in Delhi and Pondicherry are included and J&K is not included. So remember, the election of president is the president of India is elected by an electoral college consisting of elected members of both the houses of parliament and elected members of the assemblies of all states, including Delhi and Pondicherry. From this, what do you derive? The nominated members cannot vote. Nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, of course, in Lok Sabha there is no nominated members, and Rajya Sabha nominated members and assembly nominated members and members of the legislative council cannot vote for presidential election. So that is a point. Second point you should remember is Delhi and Pondicherry. Delhi and Pondicherry were added through 70th Amendment Act 1992. 70th Amendment Act 1992. This is second point you should know. See, now the election is held in accordance with the system of proportional representation by single transferable vote and the voting being secret. So what are the crucial words here? Held in accordance with the proportional representation by single transferable. Split into two. Proportional representation by single transferable vote. These are all the two elements you should know. That is, the basis of proportional representation is uniformity in the scale of representation among the states and parity between the states. See, scale of representation, uniformity, number one, and parity between the states. How it is obtained? It is obtained by a formula by which value of vote of each MLA of each state is obtained by applying a small formula. That is, the formula is value of vote of MLA. Value of vote of MLA is equal to population of the state. Population of the state. That is, when you talk of population, it is 1971 census divided by number of elected members of assembly of that state multiplied by 1/1000. Again I repeat, what is the formula? First find out what is the population of the state. When you find out, remember, it is 1971 census. Till when? Till 2026. Till 2026, you have to follow only 71 census. So what is the population? Divide this population into what is the number of elected members of that assembly. So that will give. You divide this further or multiply this by 1/1000. If you say divide by 1000 or multiply by 1/1000. So this will give you the value of one vote of that state MLA. Remember, I will give an example. Kindly note down. Very important. Unfortunately, I have no board and I'm not that well equipped as far as infrastructure is concerned, but I will be able to explain. Kindly remember. Kindly, I go slowly. Kindly take down. Let us say the population of Sikkim. Let us say the population of Sikkim is 70 lakhs. What is the population? 70 lakhs. And let us presume that there are 70 elected members in Sikkim Assembly. How many elected members in Sikkim Assembly? 70. What is the population of Sikkim? 70 lakhs. If this 70 lakhs is according to 71 census. So what is our formula? 70 lakh, that is population of the state 71 census, divided by elected members of the house 100, multiplied by 1 bar 1000. 1 bar 1000. If it is multiplied by 1 bar 1000, or if you want to say further divided by 1000. So what is the outcome? What is the result? 100. 100 will be there. So I repeat, the value of vote of each MLA of Sikkim is equal to 70 lakhs, that is the population, divided by 100, that is the number of elected members of Sikkim Assembly, multiplied by 1 bar 1000 is equal to 100. Therefore, each MLA of Sikkim has 100 votes. So, 70 MLAs has a total of 7,000 votes. Remember, what is the total vote value of Sikkim? 7,000 votes. How you obtained this 7,000? Each MLA vote is 100. So, there are 70 MLAs. 70 into 100 is equal to 7,000 votes. Now, applying this formula, you calculate the value of all MLAs of all states, 28 states, and plus 2 union territories, exclude J&K, 2 union territories including Delhi and Pondicherry. You should know that we have to take only 71 population for the presidential election up to 2026. This is as per the 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Now, you should also see, remember, the value of MLA for each state will differ. Sikkim MLA vote value is 100. UP MLA will be more because it is based on population. Now, after ascertaining the value of all MLAs, of all assemblies, of all states, including Delhi and Pondicherry, divide this total by total number of elected members of both the houses of parliament. So remember, I have told you 7,000 is the value of Sikkim Assembly. Now, like this, you calculate all the 28 and plus 2, 30, including Delhi and Pondicherry. What is the total? Divide that total by the total number of elected members of both the houses of parliament. That will give you the value of an MP. For example, let us say the total number, that is, let us say the total number of votes of elected members of legislative assemblies of all states is 75,000. Example only, remember. Example only. What is the total number of value of all the MLAs of all the state assemblies, including Delhi and Pondicherry? 75,000. Divide this. What is the number of elected members of both the houses of parliament? Example only, 750. Then 75,000 divided by 750 is 100. Again. So, the value of MP is, one MP is 100. Remember, the value of MP is static, irrespective of population, whether that MP belongs to UP, whether that MP belongs to Sikkim. The value of MP is static, always static. There is no variation. On the other hand, compare MLA vote differs from state to state. Why? That is depending upon the population. Now, so value of MP for all states is same, whereas value of MLA differs from state to state depending upon the population. For example, Sikkim MLA vote is less than the UP MLA vote, and the UP MLA vote may be the highest. Now, if the system is proportional representation, remember, if the system is proportional representation, when 2 or more persons contest for a single post, the winning candidate should get more than 50%. See, in the proportional representation, when there is vacancy, the single post, if the vacancy is single, and the winning candidate should get more than 50% in case 2 or more persons are contesting. So, this more than 50% is called electoral quota. This is called, again I repeat, if the system, in the system of proportional representation, when 2 or more persons contest for a single post, the winning candidate should get more than 50%, either in the first count or in the second count or in the third count or subsequent count. This more than 50% is called electoral quota. Remember. Next point, I told you we have proportional representation over. Now single transferable vote. In a single transferable voting system, each voter has a choice of more than one preference. More than one preference. Suppose 4 candidates contest. So let us say I am the voter, I am an MLA or MP. 4 candidates are contesting for one presidential post. So I have a choice. I can choose A, B, C, D. Of A, I can choose the A is the first preference, or D is the first preference, C is the second preference, and B is the third preference, A is the fourth preference. So I can choose anyone. Suppose I cannot, I need not choose also, I can confine myself only to one, A or B. Or if normally the person, the voter is entitled to choose any person according to his preference. Remember, if there are 4 candidates, he has to indicate this is my first preference, this is my second preference, this is in the third preference, this is my fourth preference. Now, in his vote, remember, he can mark the preference in the ballot paper. And in the second and third or fourth preferences are taken into account in second or subsequent counting. So every first counting, second counting, third counting, fourth counting. In the first counting, first preference vote is taken. Second counting, second preference vote is taken. Third counting, third preference is voted. Remember, in the first count, only the first preference votes are counted. If none of the candidates, suppose you calculate, in the first count, no one got this electoral quota, that is more than 50%, no one got. Then in that case, who got the least number of vote? Who got the least number of vote? That person will be out of race. Then from that vote of the eliminated candidate, you will see how many people have voted the second preference for the living candidate. A, B, C, D. Suppose D got the least number of votes, he is out of race. And now take the votes polled in favor of D and find out in the second preference vote how many has voted in favor of A, how many voted in favor of B, how many voted in favor of C. And transfer those votes to A, B, C. Now find out whether anyone got more than 50%. No one got. Then again find out who got the least and eliminate that. Take his third preference vote and transfer this to all the remaining A and B and add it. Even then he is not got, then who got the least? That fellow eliminate. His vote should be transferred. Like this, it will suppose nobody got in all the 4 counts, the more than half, then the repoll should be held. Remember, this is called preferential voting system. Single transferable, at a time only one. So remember, again I repeat, in the first count, only first preference votes are considered. If none of the candidates gets more than 50, that is the electoral quota, then second count occurs. At this stage, remember, the candidate with the least number of votes is eliminated. His votes are transferred in favor of other candidates according to second preference. This process will go on and subsequent preferences are counted until one candidate gets equal to or more than the electoral quota. This process includes repoll also. So this is the procedure. Now, I will try to give an example. Kindly note down. I will tell very slowly. I will give the concrete example so that you will be able to appreciate. Let us say there are 4 candidates. A, B, C, D. Who are all the 4 candidates? A, B, C, D. Let us say valid votes 15,000. Valid votes 15,000. So what is the electoral quota? More than 50,000. So 7,501 is the electoral quota. Again I repeat, 4 candidates, A, B, C and D. Total votes polled, what is the valid votes? 15,000. What is the electoral quota? 7,501. So of the 4 candidates, if anyone gets 7,501, that candidate is declared elected. Now, first count starts. In the first count, let us say the following is the voting pattern. Kindly remember, kindly note down, following is the voting pattern. A is equal to 5250, 5,250. A is equal to 5,250. B is equal to 4,800. C is equal to 2,700. D is equal to 2,250. Again I repeat, A 5250, B 4,800, C 2,700, D 2250. So in this, remember total 15,000. No one has got the magic figure of 7,501. No one got. Now who got the least? Whose number of votes is very least? D. That is D, having got the least number of votes, is eliminated. He is out of race. He is not in the picture now. Now, from the votes polled in favor of D, find out from these 2,250 how many people voted in the second preference, because this is a second count, so you should count only second preference. How many have voted in the second preference in favor of A, B and C? Out of this 2250, how many have voted for A in the second preference, B in the second preference, C in the second preference? So, now let us say, following is the voting pattern. From the A got 300, B got 1,050, C got 900. So total 2250. So this is the vote of D. From the vote of D, we find out the second preference votes polled in favor of A, polled in favor of B, polled in favor of C, which is equally, that is 300, 1,050, 900 respectively. The total is 2250. Now add these 300, 1050, 900 to the respective candidates. Number 1, A has got, now total, kindly follow, A is equal to 5250 first preference plus 300 second preference, total is 5550. 5250 first preference plus 300 second preference is equal to 5550. Second, B 4800 first preference, 1050 second preference is equal to 5850. Then C 700, that is first preference plus 900 second preference, total is 3600. Now remember again, nobody got the electoral quota more than 50, 7,501. No one got. First A got only 5550, B got only 5850, C got only 3,600. So no one got. Now who got the least? Least is C. Now C is out of race. Out of this 3,600 votes polled in favor of C, find out third preference. Remember, this is the third count. You should see only third preference. So how many people voted in favor of A and B in the third preference? Let us say the voting pattern is C having taken the least number of votes, he is out of race. The third preference of vote in C to be transferred to A and B. Let us say voting pattern. A has got 1700, B has got 1900. So 600 is divided into 2. A has got 1700 plus B has got 1900. Add these two into the respective candidate total. That is, A is equal to 5550 plus 1700 is equal to 7250. Again I repeat, A is equal to 5550 plus 1700 is equal to 7250. B is equal to 5850 first preference vote, 1900 second preference vote, total is 7750. So B, having taken more than UQ and also the highest number, is declared elected. Remember, even though he got less number of first preference votes, as a first preference he got less number, but still because he got the second and third preference more number of votes, he is declared elected because he got 7750, which is more than the electoral quota and highest. So he has got B is declared elected. Remember, election can be unopposed also. Election can be unopposed also. In 1977, Neelam Sanjeev Reddy was elected unopposed. In 1969, remember, V.V. Giri was elected after elimination of C.D. Deshmukh and Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. Remember, you should remember, only Dr. Rajendra Prasad held 2 terms as president. Number 1, Dr. Zakir Hussain and Dr. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad died in office as president. Number 2, Krishnakant died as vice president in office. Number 3, and Dr. Radhakrishnan was elected as vice president twice, unopposed, 52 and 57. Then similarly, Dr. Hidayatullah was elected as vice president unopposed in 1979. Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma was elected unopposed as vice president in 1987. Most important. Another point, Justice Hidayatullah acted as president in 1969 when V.V. Giri resigned. So, at that yesterday I remember to told you, V.V. Giri resigned in 69 and Hidayatullah, because there was no vice president, he was the chief justice and he was put as the president. See, after he became vice president in October 1982, he was acting as president as in the place of Zail Singh. Zail Singh went abroad. Similarly, when Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad died in February 1977, B.D. Jatti acted as president from February 1977 to July 1977. Then Dr. Radhakrishnan acted as president in June 1960 in place of Rajendra Prasad when he was on tour to USSR for 15 days. Similarly, again, when Rajendra Prasad was ill in July 1961, Dr. Radhakrishnan acted as president. Remember. So, this is the position. And in fact, you should note down, we have 3 union territories with the legislature, Delhi, Pondicherry and J&K. Of these, Delhi and Pondicherry are part of Electoral College. However, J&K has not been officially made part of Electoral College because the constitution has to be amended and the constitutional amendment has to be ratified by the half of the states. So Article 54 has to be amended by 2/3 majority, because perhaps BJP has no majority, 2/3 majority in Rajya Sabha, it has not been mooted. But it is fait accompli. You have to give representation to them in the Electoral College. Naturally, there is no use of opposing. You have to give representation in the Electoral College for president election. So, in the due course of time, it will be included. So, we have completed election of president, which is very important. I will try to put this in the screen because I have as I told you, I do not have enough infrastructure, for which I deeply regret. I will try to put this in the screen so that you will be able to appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.